The narrative commences with on-screen messages establishing the setting. It reveals that 3 centuries prior, the emergence of the first superpowered individuals, known as metahumans, ushered in an era of both peril and wonder. Then, 3 decades ago, an extraterrestrial infant arrived on Earth in a spacecraft and was adopted by compassionate farmers in Kansas. This child matured and, merely 3 years ago, introduced himself to the world as Superman, the most formidable metahuman. The story then fast-forwards to 3 weeks ago, when Superman averted a devastating conflict. He successfully prevented Barava from invading its peaceful neighbor, Jarper. This intervention ignited global controversy. Subsequently, just 3 minutes before the current events, an unimaginable incident occurred. A metahuman, identified as the Hammer of Barava, launched a surprise assault on Superman in the heart of Metropolis. In that brief span, Superman was vanquished. We then witnessed Superman lying unconscious in the snow-covered Arctic, bruised and severely injured. His devoted canine companion, Krypto, approaches, attempting to engage him in play, oblivious to the gravity of his master's condition. With immense effort, Krypto drags Superman to the Fortress of Solitude, his clandestine sanctuary, to seek medical aid. Robotic assistants scan his body and initiate treatment. During this process, a message from Superman's biological parents, Jor-El and Lara, appears. Though in Kryptonian, their words provide solace. The robots explain that Superman requires rest and solar energy absorption for a full recovery, but Superman rejects the notion of rest, asserting Metropolis's need for him. As he prepares to depart, Krypto playfully nips at his boots. Superman observes the dog's mess, but the robots clarify their attempts to train him, noting his unpredictable nature. Nevertheless, Superman takes flight, unaware that he is being observed by the engineer, a mysterious figure in the employ of a highly dangerous individual, Lex Luthor. For years, Luthor has been obsessed with locating Superman's hidden fortress, and now, thanks to the engineer, its whereabouts are known. He is poised to strike. Back in Metropolis, Superman confronts the Hammer of Barava once more. Unbeknownst to him, this hammer is a brainwashed metahuman under Luthor's command, programmed to anticipate Superman's every move. Once again, Superman is defeated. As the battle concludes, a young fast food worker named Molly rushes to Superman's aid. He expresses his unwavering belief in Superman, promising steadfast support. Witnessing this, Luthor immediately instructs his team to investigate the young man. Before departing, Hammer issues a final warning to Superman. Stay out of Barava's affairs, or the next encounter will be fatal. Meanwhile, Luthor and his team celebrate, confident in their progress toward completely dismantling Superman. Hammer then retreats to a clandestine facility within a pocket dimension, a unique space facilitating inter-universal travel. He casts his armor, revealing his true identity, Ultraman, a formidable anti-hero working for Luthor. The following day, Clark Kent returns to his job at the Daily Planet. His colleague Steve immediately ridicules him, criticizing his journalistic abilities. Jimmy Olsen, another reporter, playfully alludes to Clark's recent exclusive interviews with Superman. Steve expresses bewilderment at how someone like Clark consistently secures such interviews. Clark merely shrugs, stating, "We're friends." Lois Lane, intrigued, also desires an interview, but Clark gently informs her that Superman only communicates with him. Across town, at the Pentagon, Lex Luthor convenes with high-ranking officials, including Rick Flag Sr., director of the top-secret agency Argus. Luthor presents an audacious proposal. He wishes to introduce Ultraman as Earth's new protector. According to Luthor, Superman's presence constitutes a national security risk. He contends that despite Superman's benevolent actions, he remains an alien outsider. Luthor explains that Ultraman commands the full backing of the engineer and even possesses his own army. However, some officials resist, distrusting Luthor, particularly due to his dubious dealings, such as selling weaponry to Bolivia. Luthor's proposition is rejected, but he remains undeterred, vowing to personally bring down Superman. Later, Clark and Lois share a quiet moment at home. They share a kiss, and we learn they have been dating for 3 weeks. Lois suggests they alter their interview approach as public suspicion is growing. Clark concurs and offers to arrange an interview with Superman, but during the conversation, tension escalates. Lois poses challenging questions, such as why Superman chose to defend a foreign nation instead of prioritizing the United States. Clark responds sincerely, explaining that his mission is to assist anyone in need, regardless of their origin. He believes everyone deserves to live in peace and dignity. However, the disagreement intensifies. Clark, frustrated, terminates the interview. Lois appears disheartened, sensing the fragility of the relationship. Concurrently, Lex Luthor, the engineer, Ultraman, and Luthor's girlfriend, Eve Tessmacher, arrive at the Fortress of Solitude. They breach its defenses with ease. The robots attempt to intervene but are effortlessly incapacitated by the engineer. Krypto bravely defends the fortress, but is also subdued. Inside, the engineer discovers Jor-El's antiquated message system. It is corrupted. He employs advanced nanotechnology to repair it, thereby unlocking deeply private data that could severely compromise Superman. Simultaneously, Superman battles a peculiar new creature known as a kaiju. Initially, the monster appears innocuous, but it rapidly transforms into a colossal beast. Superman prioritizes civilian rescue. He freezes the ground to safeguard a dock and excavates an escape tunnel after being crushed in the struggle. He endeavors to avoid killing the kaiju, believing it to be a rare and valuable life. form, but the situation spirals out of control. Just then, the Justice League arrives. Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl, and Green Lantern. Mr. Terrific proposes destroying the kaiju from within. Superman objects, insisting the creature should be studied, not eradicated. But Terrific proceeds, launching specialized spheres into the kaiju, causing it to explode from within. Superman is devastated. He failed to save it. Afterward, on the city streets, children gather around Superman, cheering and embracing him with gratitude. Suddenly, a video circulates online, spreading like wildfire. Even a small girl, still clinging to Superman, views the footage on her phone. Her smile vanishes. Her mother snatches the phone, pulling her away in fear. The footage is shocking. It depicts Superman's biological father, Jor-El, speaking in Kryptonian. Now translated. In the video, he declares Earth weak and its inhabitants deserving of domination or even annihilation. He instructs his son Kal-El to raise a Kryptonian army and conquer the planet. The media erupts. News outlets scramble for answers. Social media feeds are inundated. People propagate wild rumors about Superman possessing a secret agenda to rule Earth. Public opinion sours. One man even approaches Superman on the street, calling him a disappointment. Later, the Justice League confronts him. Green Lantern demands answers. Is it true? Did your father send you here to conquer us? Superman, bewildered, denies it. The video appears authentic, yet none of it makes sense. Mr. Terrific steps forward. As a living machine, he scans the video data. His analysis confirms the worst. The footage is genuine, and it could only have been accessed via the Fortress of Solitude. Superman flies there as swiftly as possible, but it is too late. The place is in ruins. The robots are severely damaged. They bow their heads in apology, unable to prevent the intruders. Even worse, Krypto is gone. Superman is heartbroken, not merely because Krypto is missing, but because the dog is far more valuable than a pet, and now he is in danger. Enraged, Superman heads directly to Lex Luthor to demand answers. He bursts into Luthor's lab, demanding to know Krypto's whereabouts. Luthor feigns innocence. Meanwhile, his girlfriend Eve secretly records the entire confrontation. Later, the footage goes viral, and the media distorts it to portray Superman as a violent maniac, likening him to a wild animal. The pressure mounts. Peacemaker appears on television, offering his opinion. Superheroes conceal their secrets, believing themselves superior. He then smugly adds that perhaps the other heroes are envious of his superior physique. Later that night, Superman visits Lois. He switches off the television, looks her in the eyes, and quietly states, "I didn't come to this world to cause harm." Lois believes him, but she perceives the world spiraling out of control. Clark begins to doubt himself. What if his father did send him with sinister intentions? He had always believed he originated from a noble lineage, but now, suddenly, Lois notices a commotion outside. The Justice League is battling a villain named Solaris. Clark observes, then utters something unexpected. He plans to surrender. It is the sole means of proving to the world that he poses no threat. Before leaving, he tells Lois he loves her. The following morning, Superman surrenders. Ultraman appears and handcuffs him, though Superman requests that no force be used. Argus director Rick Flag Sr. takes custody, confining Superman in a secret pocket dimension, a place beyond normal space and time. There, Superman encounters another prisoner, Metamorpho. Metamorpho is not willingly working for Luthor. His son Joey has been abducted. If he removes the kryptonite embedded in his arm, Luthor will kill the boy. Superman promises to help, but Luthor escalates his torment. To break him, Luthor introduces Molly, the young fast food worker who once assisted Superman. Now Luthor uses him in a twisted game of Russian roulette. Every incorrect answer from Superman will result in Molly being shot. Clark answers the first question correctly, but Molly implores him to stop. He knows Luthor will not play fair. And indeed, at the second question, Luthor pulls the trigger. Molly is shot in the head. Back in Borova, their president laughs. Luthor walks away smiling, remarking, next time he'll bring someone even closer. Perhaps Krypto, or the journalist who always secures Superman's exclusive interviews. Metamorpho breaks down, never having imagined such cruelty. Meanwhile, Lois desperately searches for Clark. She has secretly been receiving assistance from an unexpected source. Eve Teschmacher, Luthor's girlfriend. Eve confesses everything, revealing that Superman is trapped in a pocket dimension. Armed with the truth, Lois heads to the Hall of Justice, but she receives no assistance from Hawkwoman or Green Lantern. They are too fearful of Luthor and his powerful superior, Maxwell Lord. Only Mr. Terrific agrees to help. They board an ancient, noisy spacecraft and depart. During the journey, Lois reflects on her relationship with Clark. Terrific listens quietly, offering his perspective. Upon reaching the edge of the pocket dimension, he swiftly detects something alarming. The dimension is unstable. If it collapses, it could fracture the entire universe. He dispatches tracking spheres to locate Superman. Then, Luthor's guards attack. Back in the pocket dimension, Metamorpho makes a decision. He finally asks Superman, "Can you truly save my son?" Clark replies, "Yes," with absolute conviction. Metamorpho transforms his body and channels solar energy directly into Superman's weakened form. It's not much, but it's enough. Superman regains just enough power to escape. Together, they first rescue Joey, then Krypto. As guards pursue them, Superman uses his icy breath to freeze the path behind them. They flee just in time. Outside, Terrific retrieves them. Krypto immediately runs to his floating spheres, playing with them like toys. But Superman is still weakened from the kryptonite exposure. Terrific insists he rest. He entrusts the ship's controls to Lois, who flies them to a place Superman has not visited in a while, the Kent family farm. There, Jonathan Kent expresses concern, but is gentle. Martha, ever hopeful, assures him that circumstances will improve. As Clark rests peacefully, Lois observes him, serene and surrounded by love. For the first time, she truly comprehends Superman's uniqueness, and thankfully, he never fulfilled the mission he was supposedly sent to accomplish. Later that night, Luthor discovers Superman's escape. Enraged, he smashes everything in his lab. He yells at his staff and then cruelly lashes out at a weeping Eve. Eve secretly calls Jimmy Olsen. She tells him the truth. Lex is a monster. She desires to dismantle his empire. She promises to send Jimmy everything: photos, files, evidence. Jimmy agrees without hesitation, but not all secrets remain hidden. Ultraman overhears the entire phone call. Furious, he imprisons her in the same pocket dimension. Meanwhile, Mr. Terrific had been correct all along. The pocket dimension is fracturing. Space and time are unraveling. But instead of acting, Luthor dismisses it with a shrug, believing Superman will eventually return to fix it. After all, isn't that what he always does? The following morning, Clark engages in a heartfelt conversation with his adoptive father, Jonathan Kent. Frustrated, confused, and shaken, Clark confesses a nagging doubt. What if he truly was sent to conquer Earth? What if that video was authentic? But Jonathan, calm and wise, offers a profound insight. We all make mistakes, son. What matters isn't where you came from, it's what you choose to do. Clark embraces him tightly, finding the clarity he desperately needed. Just then, Martha Kent calls them inside, and when they turn on the news, it brings more grim tidings. A new tragedy is unfolding. In Barava, the military is massacring innocent people along the border. Clark does not hesitate. He seizes Mr. Terrific's floating tech spheres and takes flight. But they warn him of another urgent problem. A rip in the multiverse has appeared in the city and is expanding. Chaos erupts, buildings collapse, civilians flee in terror. In one terrifying moment, a woman is about to be crushed by falling concrete, but Superman swoops in and saves her. Once she is safe, he prevents the entire building from collapsing. Meanwhile, in Barava, a young boy raises a homemade Superman flag, praying for his hero's arrival. And he is not alone. More villagers join him, but instead of Superman, Guy Gardner appears first. He smirks, informing them that Superman will not be coming, but not to worry. They brought something superior. The Justice League arrives in full force. Hawkgirl soars overhead. Metamorpho transforms into battle gear. Green Lantern shields people from explosions. Guy destroys enemy tanks as if they were toys. Hawkgirl personally hunts down the corrupt president of Barava. And when he smugly tells her that Superman would not kill him, she drops him midair and replies, "I'm not Superman." Back in the city, Superman is doing what he can when he is suddenly ambushed by two adversaries, Ultraman and the Engineer. While Ultraman engages Superman directly, the Engineer focuses her attention on Mr. Terrific, but she has a surprise in store for Clark. She inserts a nanobot into his mouth, attempting to suffocate him from within. Desperate, Superman rockets into Earth's upper atmosphere, where he unleashes a devastating punch, incapacitating the Engineer. But the fight is not over. Ultraman, battered but still standing, tears off his mask, revealing a shocking truth. He looks exactly like Superman. Luthor's voice crackles through the comms. He reveals the horrifying truth. Ultraman is a clone, a failed experiment resulting from 3 years of trial and error. He is not a hero. He is a mindless, super-strong puppet built for destruction. Luthor issues the kill order. Ultraman blasts Superman with his heat vision, burning him. But Clark understands himself, and he knows how to defeat himself. He transforms the clone's own strengths into weaknesses, landing blow after blow. Just in time, Krypto arrives. Man's best friend launches into battle, and together they bring Ultraman to his knees. In a final move, Superman hurls him into a black hole, eliminating the threat permanently. Mr. Terrific arrives, urging Clark to rise. There is still more to be done. Soldiers loyal to Luthor descend, but Superman swiftly dispatches them with his heat vision. But Lex Luthor is unhinged now. In a desperate act, he detaches his entire skyscraper from the ground. It turns out the central tower of LexCorp is actually a spaceship, and it is preparing to flee, or worse, destroy Earth. The planet teeters on the brink of disaster. Even his own employees implore him to stop, but Luthor refuses. His hatred for Superman blinds him to everything else. Meanwhile, Lois takes action from Mr. Terrific's ship. She releases all the evidence Jimmy Olsen collected. The world finally sees the truth. Luthor caused the Barava conflict. Luthor created the clone. Luthor is behind the multiversal rupture. Thousands have perished, all because of his hatred. Luthor, witnessing his entire plan exposed, yells at Superman, "You're a damn alien. One bad day is all it takes to reveal who you really are." But Superman, composed and calm, simply states, "You're wrong. We all fall fall, but it's never too late to get back up. Superman offers to help him one last time. Luthor screams, "Go to hell!" At that moment, Krypto leaps in and attacks him. Furious, unrelenting, Superman gently restrains him, and that is when something within Luthor breaks. He collapses, tears falling. It is over. Behind him, a screen illuminates. It is the front page of the Daily Planet. The headline, all the evidence, all the proof, all eyes on him. The world has chosen its hero, and it is not Lex Luthor. With Luthor defeated, peace begins to return. In Barava, after the dust settles, Hawkgirl invites Metamorpho to join the team. At first, Guy shrugs it off, but when Metamorpho expresses his fondness for the name Justice League, even Guy cannot help but smile. Everyone returns to Metropolis. Luthor is taken into custody, and Superman shares a quiet moment with Lois. They kiss, and Clark whispers that he loves her, and regrets not saying it sooner. Later at the Fortress of Solitude, Superman repairs all the damage Luthor inflicted. The robots are back online. The systems are restored. Just then, the front doors open. It is Supergirl, Kara. She is there for Krypto. He is, in fact, her dog. She laughs, adding a fun fact. On sunless planets, alcohol affects one strangely. Krypto sees her and joyfully tackles her. She laughs instead of scolding him. One of the robots rolls its eyes, remarking that is why he misbehaves. Before leaving, Kara thanks Clark, assuring him they will meet again soon. Once things calm down, Superman, still recuperating, asks one of the robots to display videos of his family, his parents, his home planet. But instead, the robot plays something better. Memories from his life on Earth, his childhood with the Kents, his teenage years, his mother, his father, every small moment that shaped him. Superman smiles, and that is where the movie concludes. If you enjoyed this in-depth exploration of one of the most audacious Superman narratives ever told, remember to like, subscribe, and activate notifications so you never miss a recap.